Hey, everybody. Good morning and welcome back. If you happen to be listening live via that 80s Wrestling, the podcast YouTube page, jump into the comments section, click the link that's pinned to the top to join us on air. Just remember, you can turn off your camera. We only take audio callers. Use headphones if possible, and make sure you mute that YouTube live stream in the background. Otherwise, it gives us a real nasty echo. Once you're backstage with us, you can still follow and participate in the YouTube comments by clicking the comment section of that studio app. And don't forget to follow the page and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on topics, special guests, and all that good stuff. Today, we're heading back to that golden era when sometimes a regular match just wasn't enough, because in the 80s and early 90s, if you really wanted to settle the score, you needed a special stipulation. Maybe you put a bag of money on the line in a body slam contest. Maybe the losers got to don a weasel suit. We've seen jailhouse matches, blindfold matches, body slam challenges, strap matches, hair versus hair, and some match stipulations that could only have happened during that wonderful, crazy world of the golden era of professional wrestling. Today, we're going to revisit our favorites, talk about the great ones, the ridiculous ones, and those matches that when you hear the rules, you go, who the heck came up with this? But that's exactly what made this era of professional wrestling so much fun. When a feud got personal, promoters found a creative way to settle it. And as us watching at home, we absolutely couldn't wait to see what was going to happen. Special stipulation matches on today's episode of 80s Wrestling, the podcast. My name, Jumpin' Jay, and as always, I'm joined by the Con Father, none other than Mr. Tommy Fierro. Tommy, good morning, brother. What is going on today?
This could be a fun one today, and I love the fact that we are highlighting these gimmick matches that are not. I mean, you look back on the history of wrestling, like you think gimmick matches, steel cage, Hell in the Cell, Royal Rumble, Battle Royal, tape fist match, but these some of the, and especially some of the graphics that you use for today's episode that are up on the screen right now, like the Weasel Suit match, man. Like looking back on that time period as a kid, and just remembering how much heat Bobby Heenan had, and he can bump around and he go in there and he can put in the Weasel Suit, and the crowd just went absolutely bonkers for this. And that was a cool stipulation. And I'm looking at the body slam challenge with Andre and Big John Studd from WrestleMania 1, where after he body slammed Big John Studd, he threw the money out to the crowd. Like, there's so many one-offs and stipulation matches that are that we probably don't think of when we're thinking of gimmick matches. Blindfold match there as well with Jake and Rick Martel. There's been others also, but that's probably one of the most famous ones because it was on the grand stage of WrestleMania. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm interested in hearing what everyone has to say about some of their favorite non-top gimmick matches. Non-top gimmick matches means steel cage obviously has been done a million times. Bull rope match has been done, but there's some of these stipulations here, like you have in this graphic, that was few and far between. So it's gonna be an exciting episode today, and I'm looking forward to hearing what everyone has to say.
Before we jump into the slam line here, Tommy, as a promoter of a wrestling company yourself, ISPW, the Independent Superstars of Pro Wrestling, have you ever reached into that stipulation bag and pulled out one of these type of matches in your own promotion?
Yes. So I did a blindfold match with it was a girls match. It was Vicious Vicky. I forgot who she wrestled. I did that. Gimmick matches are fun, man, because especially for me, because I run so many events in this state, and after a while the matches kind of become, you can only see the same guys so many times, right? So like, or the same match so many times. So if you're in a feud with someone, like I did TLC. There's a funny story real quick since we're talking about, and that's probably a more famous one. So that probably wouldn't be one of these one-offs, but it's a funny story. So I had six of my guys feuding for the title. They're all kind of like main event guys. So we did our Wildwood show last month, and you want to do something different. You want to do something unique, especially a big show like that. It's at the Wildwood Convention Center where WWF used to run. So WWE. And you want to do something unique, something different, something that stands out. So I did a TLC match. Now, this is called working on the fly. So originally, there's gonna be no problem getting a couple tables. I said, hey, would it be okay if we use a couple of tables? We'll pay for them. The fans love them, no problem. Turns out a day before, there was some kind of screw up, and they didn't realize that we needed wooden tables. So you gotta, and the last second like that. Now these old school wooden tables, they're hard to come by now because everyone is all these catering halls and party rental places. They all use plastic tables now, and I'm sure that you probably do at your place as well. And it's hard to track them down 48 hours before. So I talked to my ring crew, and they had a bunch of doors on their ring truck. Now I use the same ring crew as GCW, so they do a lot of that more hardcore stuff. And not all their stuff's hardcore. They have awesome wrestling matches as well. But so I booked this gimmick where Justin Carino, who's the heel and is the champion, he comes out at the beginning of the match before everybody else and says, you know, there's no way I'm getting put through any tables. This is not ECW. This is not Extreme. I sent the order back to the manufacturer. And now the crowd starts booing because it's a TLC match, right? So the other five guys in the match are baby faces. So they all come out, and then the referee uh, whispers something to all those guys. All five guys go in the back to the locker room, and they all come back out marching with doors in their hands, and the place erupted. And we turned into a doors, ladders, and chairs match, and it was so much better. And there's highlights on our ISPW social media of it because it sounds so much cooler going like the sound in the arena when you go through a door. And we had five of them, so and they broke all five of them, so it actually wound up working out better. But yeah, those and then now 1 week from today, we'll be back at the Wildwoods Convention Center. We're doing another show, another Legends of Wrestling night next Thursday there, and we're doing a return match with those six guys. And this time, it's a Wildwood Extreme Rules match. So because it got over so good with the doors, all you gotta do is throw the name of the town in front of Extreme Rules and throw some non non dangerous weapons in there, and you have another gimmick match. So yeah, gimmick matches are very important, man. Very, very important, especially when you're trying to further along a storyline and you want to do something different than the typical steel cage match or lumberjack. Even lumberjack matches you don't see them very often. I did a lumberjack match recently, but yeah, I'm a big, big, big fan of stipulation matches, only because as a promoter, typically they're free. I mean, how much does it really cost to get a blindfold, or how much does it really cost to, you know, get certain things? So like it's important, I think.
Yeah, and as a fan, it adds that level of excitement. It adds that level of, what is this? I haven't seen this before. And so if you've never seen a wrestler be put through a door, when those guys came back through the curtain holding doors, yeah, I
It
can
went
imagine the
crazy.
fans really got into it.
Yeah, they did, and it worked out really well. Yeah, so and I'm looking at the graphic on the screen right now as I'm talking. The big boss man and the Mountie, the prisons and the prison match. Like, there's so many cool things, and I'm sure that we could probably even like if we had a half hour just to sit down with a pen and paper, we could probably come up with some new stipulations that never been done before. But I do think they're important, and they definitely add to the card if it's done the right way.
Well, we're going to get into them all. We're going to find out which ones the listeners loved, which ones they thought were ridiculous. We're going to jump into the Wrestling Collector Slam line. And up first, we're flying out to Boston. Class is now in session. It's time for Professor Matt. Matt, good morning, brother.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
Good morning.
We're doing great, sir. How are
Morning.
you?
Doing well. So, look, very quickly, right off the top, there is a very loyal listener to this podcast. His name is Diego, and his family lives in Colombia, and they had a pretty massive earthquake this week. And I just want to send my well wishes out to his family. And I know he'll be listening because he listens every week. He loves this podcast. So, best wishes out to him.
Hey, Diego.
So,
Thanks for listening, man.
gimmick matches gimmick matches in wrestling are like peanut butter and jelly, right? They go back, really to the beginning, and they just kind of always fit. Um, and you know, in the golden era or prior, right? I always think of gimmick matches were always a way to sort of blow off a feud, right? There's a number of different gimmick matches on how you can blow off a feud, and that can be a cage match or a haircut match or whatever, right? But you're taking that next step. You've done all you can do with traditional rivalry and matches, and you got to take it to another level because you haven't settled that issue yet. And I think that that still holds today, but I think it's morphed and changed as everything does. But it has morphed and changed to we just need something different, not necessarily blowing off a feud. But I kind of love that concept of we've done all we can do now to really figure out who's going to come out the victor of this rivalry is you've got to have a stipulation or a gimmick match. And I really like that concept. And I know that makes me kind of like old man yelling at clouds, like it must be to blow off a feud. But that's the way life works. So I'm pretty traditional in my stipulation matches. I think one of my all-time favorites is the cage match, and specifically because I'm a WWF guy from growing up, the Big Blue Cage. And I think the Big Blue Cage had some absolute bangers over, in the 80s. You can talk about Hogan and Bundy in WrestleMania 2. And while that wasn't, a five-star classic, it was the main event of the second ever WrestleMania in the Big Blue Cage. And I thought that was pretty monumental. And of course, Hogan's had a number of these, right? With Orndorff. I think it was on Saturday night's main event, and they both were exiting the cage at the same time. And they had to restart the match, and there was a lot of drama there. And of course, Hogan Bossman on Saturday night's main event, and Hogan superplexes Bossman off the top of the cage. What a visual that was. And of course, you go on to have Warrior against Rude in the Big Blue, and Brett versus Owen at SummerSlam '94, and just a lot of really monumental matches in that Big Blue Cage over the years, specifically in the Golden Era. And I really like the Big Blue Cage, and that's one of my favorite stipulation matches. However not exciting it may be, I think there's just a lot of history and a lot of great feuds culminated in the Big Blue Cage.
Tommy, do you think in today's wrestling they could bring back the blue cage as a stipulation? And that would be because now we're all used to the chain link fence type cage. But if they bring back old Big Blue for a match, do you think that would catch people's attention?
Absolutely. And I would love to see it. And I think the perfect place to do something like that on, because they can show old clips, is like Saturday Night's Main Event. I think Saturday Night's Main Event would be a good place to do that. I mean, I'm looking back and immediately comes to mind is that Hogan Orndorff cage match where they both came down at the same time. And man, I would love to see that. It doesn't have to be Saturday Night's Main Event. It could be a regular premium live event or something like that. But yes, I think that anything that was old and popular can be new again. And I've said that a million times on the podcast here before. I would love to see that, man. That would be awesome. And it has to be somewhere, right? Like it just didn't disappear. WWE rings, I believe, are the same size now that they were back then. I believe they're 18 foot. So the cage has to be somewhere, right? Why didn't they ever go back to that? I would love to see that.
What's the Professor Matt and Tommy, help me out here? What's the special cage they built for Kali? I believe they turned the Big Blue Cage into the Pujami prison match or whatever that thing is called. I think that was the Blue Cage.
No. I think that was structured differently, wasn't it? The professor would know. I believe there was something on the top of that, but I could be wrong. I don't think it was the same, was it?
I'll be honest, I don't think I caught that particular match, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to help you out with that one.
I think the base of that special match was the big blue. I think they painted it to look like bamboo, and then they added a second cage around that, and they added some bamboo to it. But I think the heart of that is big blue. I could be wrong.
So you're telling me,
We'll have to look it up.
Jumpin' Jay, you're telling me that they spray paint it or paint it the blue cage for that thing? Did someone tell you that, or did you read that somewhere?
Listen, I'm looking up pictures now. Listen. I might not be too far off. I'm going to put a picture on the screen. If you're patient. Yeah, if you're patient with me, I'll get a picture on there. But I think that's what happened to Big Blue.
So they also used Big Blue in the 90s, but they spray painted it black. Like I think there was Austin versus McMahon in a cage, and it was Big Blue, but it was black. So I think they've definitely manipulated Big Blue over the years. I can't imagine they would have created a whole new Big Blue for that match. They likely just painted it. But who knows? I just remember seeing the return of the. Oh no, that does not look the same to me.
No, that's not the same, Jumpin' Jay.
We're gonna do some research.
Unless they wrapped it. Maybe they wrapped.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Well, no, even the openings, even the openings on the cage looks bigger than the blue cage. No.
Well, you got to remember this is post steroid era, so Randy's not as big as Hogan at WrestleMania 2. So
you're digging here. Next thing we know, Boris Zukov's the fucking one that painted the cage.
He's actually Boris Zukov wins this match that I got on the screen. He becomes the champion in this match.
Listen, I still can't believe that we had Boris Zukov on the podcast for you a couple of weeks back. That was amazing.
It was. Listen, I haven't slept since. I'm still riding back.
I think we're due for a new guest. So let's hold off on next week's episode. I'll get a wrestler for next week's episode.
Oh, that'd be exciting. Professor 100%. Matt, thanks for weighing in on the Big Blue, buddy. And we're gonna do some research, and we're gonna have the answer by next week's episode on what happened to Big Blue.
Yeah, you got it. And real quickly, the only other thing I wanted to mention is I was also a huge fan of lumberjack matches, because you just knew something was going to happen and the interaction the intensity was going to turn up. So just a quick shout out for lumberjack matches. Gentlemen, thank you very much for having me on. Talk again next week.
Thank you so much, Matt. Yeah, lumberjack matches are great. Tom, you ever throw a lumberjack match into an ISPW card?
A few times, and I did one. I can't remember. I think I did one this year. But I did for our light heavyweight title match. But yeah, man, it's gimmick matches. Because something like that doesn't cost anything, right? Like the guy's already there. You just tell them to stand around the ring during this match. So like any kind of match, gimmick match, it doesn't cost any additional money that you can put it on the poster is phenomenal. Like a lumberjack match is great because it doesn't cost you any extra money, or as a promoter, or like a ladder match. I mean, if there's a ladder in the building and you can tie the belt to the ceiling, but it's not too high, that's another gimmick match that's not going to cost any money. So yeah, man, I think they're very important, especially when you're trying to spice things up.
And it's a great way to get maybe wrestlers who aren't in other matches on the card, get them out in front of the crowd and get them a little time in the spotlight.
Sure. And another one is I know there's been a few, but it hasn't been done overly crazily, was like an ambulance match where the loser, the only way to win a match is by putting your opponent in the ambulance and it drives off. Like if it's a fundraiser for the fire department or the ambulance, like you can get it for free probably, So like there's so many tricks of the trade you can do, especially on an independent level. I mean, WWE, it doesn't matter. Like they got so much money, or AEW, like it doesn't really matter to them. But for an independent promotion where every dollar counts and you can do some of these gimmick matches without spending any money, they're extremely, extremely important.
Professor Matt jumped off this phone call, got right to the Google machine, and he says, according to Google, the Punjabi prison match was the Big Blue Cage.
What?
Former WWE writer Court Bauer said the inner structure of the Punjabi prison match was constructed by repurposing the iconic old school blue steel cage from the 80s and 90s.
Well, I owe you an extreme apology. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just happy IT Savage was able to jump off his call with us and get right to the Google.
Wow, that's a shocker.
You'll have to go back and rewatch that
will.
Punjabi prison match today at the Wrestling Collector.
I'm going to put it on.
See if you can spot Old Blue.
I will.
All right, we're talking all about those special matches. You call them gimmick matches. You could call them stipulation matches. But like Professor Matt said, when a feud got to the boiling point and it had to be settled, sometimes you had to pull out a special kind of match. And that's what we're talking about today. Up next on the Wrestling Collector Slam line, it's time for the world's most dangerous caller. It's time for Jason. Jason, good morning, brother.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How are you doing today, sir?
Doing okay.
We're talking all about those special stipulation matches. We've already covered the old blue steel cage. Give me a stipulation match that you remember fondly, Jason.
Well, I mean, one that comes to mind is Cold Blood match.
I hear a little bit of wind in the background. I don't know if you have a fan going in your room or you're driving down Highway 17. You got to repeat that. What kind of match was it?
A coal miner's glove match.
Oh, brother, we can hear you loud and clear. The old coal miner gloves match. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's where they put a coal miner's glove on a pole. First one to reach it got to use it.
Yeah. They also had, I remember back in the day, lights out matches.
Yes.
Jason, break it down for me. What is special about a coal miner's glove compared to just a regular glove?
Well, you climb. You got to climb the pole and retrieve the glove and get to use the glove.
But I mean, what's different about that specific glove, or is it's just a hard leathery glove that's gonna make you chafe your opponent's face when you punch him with it?
Oh, that's the only thing I can figure out. I don't. Just a hard glove's all I can figure about. All I ever could figure out about it. Never had nothing that I could see that was in it. Like
there's no lumps of coal hidden in the fingers.
Yeah, it might be coal hidden in the fingers.
That's right.
Hey, Jason. Is there a stipulation where it's a kick Tommy's ass match or no?
Well, it might be.
Oh, really? Wow. Hey, listen.
The old coal miner's boot match.
Whoa. He said there might be. So Jay, now listen. He said it might be. So that's kind of like a semi-threat, correct? So I don't make me knock on this. Remember, I have that back closet in the Wrestling Collector. Don't make me knock on it.
Don't go knocking on that door.
No, I'm gonna knock on. Listen, because I have a stipulation match. I have a stipulation match in mind, but I'm gonna have the man behind the closet tell you about it. Hold on one sec. Sheik, you in there?
I don't want to know this stipulation.
What's up? The podcast is live. I'm talking about stipulation matches, and the world's most dangerous caller just said that he might beat me up in a coal miner's glove match. Can you help me out here? Hello. First of all, I'd like to say hello to all the wrestling fans all around the world, Baba. They're no orange Sheik. World Wrestling Federation, chop. Hey, you gourmet chop. You talk about the gimmick match. I'll get a fucking gimmick match for you. It's pull your pants down, fuck your ass, and make you humble on the deathbed match. Motherfucker. Do.
I knew it involved a Dave.
Hello?
There was our short-lived stint on the YouTube.
Go to a question. Hello?
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys.
You can't control Tommy G.
I know that you really want to beat me up. I apologize. I'll talk to him. Hello?
Hello, are we still there?
Yeah, we're here. I apologize. Everything's good.
Okay, that's wonderful.
So I look while Tommy was getting Tommy chic, I looked up coal miner's glove match, and it was a hard leather glove that was often loaded with metal pieces, studs, or something at the knuckles, and that's why it became such a weapon.
Yeah.
I'll see here if I can get a picture of the glove onto the screen here if anybody wants to see exactly
or a day
about.
or a day bed
or a day bed.
Or a day bed.
So on the screen, if you're watching on YouTube, is a picture of the coal miner's glove on a pole. And yeah, it's got something wrapped around the knuckles, so that would do some damage.
It's been a long time since they've ever had a coal grinder's glove match.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing one.
Have you ever heard of a down on the farm match?
Gosh, I know the Triple H and the Godwins had a pigsty match, but I don't know if I know what a down on the farm match is.
There was a local promotion here in Indianapolis years ago, and they had a down on the farm match. They had hay laid outside the ring, had pitchforks.
That would be an interesting match. It also makes me think of what's the match that Blacktop Bully had in WCW where he was in the back of a semi-trailer.
Oh, him and Dustin Rhodes, where they both got fired for it.
Yeah, both got to go for it.
I can't think of the name of that match. That's skipping my mind.
That truck had hay in the background too.
Yeah, they both ended got fired for excessive use of blood. I think that's what they both got fired for.
Yeah, the King of the Road match took place at WCW Uncensored back in '95, and there was a ban on getting blood in matches at that time. And Dustin Rhodes and Blacktop Bully drew blood on an 18-wheeler moving down the highway in Mississippi.
Yep, that's what it was. I remember that. I'm trying to think of other stipulation matches that are kind of.
What was the match called when it was Piper and Goldust?
The Hollywood Backlot Brawl.
Yeah,
Yes.
Backlot Brawl.
That's a different one.
And it was originally supposed to have been Rowdy Piper versus O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, because they did the whole white Ford Bronco going down the road angle.
Yeah, Piper drove the Ford Bronco.
Last time we talked about that match once on this show, and something Babyface Brian pointed out is they sprayed the backlot with water just in case it rained the next day. It would look cohesive. I remember talking about that.
Yeah, I've heard that. Like I said, it's originally supposed to have been Piper versus OJ, but they decided that'd have been a little out there.
Professor Matt's chiming in saying it was supposed to be Razor against Goldust, but Razor wouldn't do it, so Piper moved into that spot.
I think that's okay because I think at that time I think Piper was a bigger name than Razor. Razor was a big star, but Piper was an icon, so I think it worked out better for Goldust.
And Piper ended up breaking his wrist during the backlot brawl because he hit Goldust, and when he did, he broke his wrist.
Yeah, that is correct. Professor Matt says he didn't think Razor liked the angle with Goldust, wasn't comfortable with that Goldust character at that time, and that's why he refused to do it.
Hey, well, listen, you got to be a pro sometimes, right? So, like, Jason, the world's most dangerous caller, I'm sure that he doesn't like to get his pants pulled down and on the day bed, and be humbled, but he's a good sport about it, right?
If it's some woman, I will do it, but not him. Jay, you didn't tell us you was at SummerSlam.
Who was at SummerSlam?
You.
I wasn't at SummerSlam. Who told you I was at?
You was that guy who jumped up here and with the Muggs root beer guy with the big hand.
My God.
I seen when you jumped up, the first person
That's great.
Jumping Jay.
That was Jay. He was a tall man. Now, listen. I'll tell you the booker in me real quick. So what I thought would have been fucking awesome is when that root beer guy jumped up. He was a tall guy too, right? I'm like, this has got to be an angle. Like, how great would it have been, right? If the root beer guy, because he was celebrating with his family and shit. How great would it in his hometown? How great would it have been if the mug root beer guy attacked him, right? And then he took off the mask, and it was El Grande Americano. How awesome,
that would have
dude!
been good.
That would have been fucking awesome. That I thought there was a chance that was him because he was tall like him. You know,
Uh-huh.
that would have been great.
But it would have been great. The crowd would have popped more if it had been Jumpin' Jay.
I would have popped more. That's for sure.
And I would have said, somebody close that door, Tommy.
Close that. Close that.
Close that. Close that.
That's exactly who I thought it. When he jumped up, I was like, "That's a big tall dude. That's Jumpin' Jay. That's got to be him."
I'm gonna put an image on the screen of the mug root beer guy because I know exactly who you're talking about. I watched SummerSlam with my son. Let me get it on here. It's loading right now. But yeah, it was a nice tall guy inside the mug root beer mascot outfit. There he is on ringside with Gable.
That could have been you.
It could have been me. It could have been El Grande Americana. That would have been a great booking decision.
Yes, that's what I would have done.
Yeah, but it was it. They ruined Chad Gable's whole town. They're not going to ruin that moment though.
Sometimes you gotta ruin moments to make more money, right, Jumpin' Jay?
It may have taken a good moment, and it may have made it great.
Absolutely.
All right, Jason. Thank you so much for weighing in today, brother. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. You guys have a nice week.
You too, man.
Talking all about those gimmick matches.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I have a gimmick match that I've been sitting on. No joke. I've been sitting on it for about 20 years that I've always wanted to do. I've never done it, but I think I'm going to do it in the near future. And it's a match that, as far as I know, has never, ever been done before. You want to hear it?
Yeah, pitch it to us, man. I'm all ears.
So I want to do, which I think is the first ever, probably someone's going to steal it after hearing this podcast, the first ever hide and seek match where the title is hidden. I know you're laughing. Listen.
No, I like it. It got my attention right off the bat.
The title is hidden somewhere in the arena, and whoever finds it first is the winner.
That's not a bad idea. I thought you were going to say like one of the opponents is hiding, and you got to find him in order to wrestle him.
Now,
you're hiding the title.
Yes. Now, obviously, it wouldn't work on a grand stage like WWE where there's, you're in an arena with 20,000 people, but a small independent show in a high school gym or a hall or something like that, you can easily do it. I mean, my only concern would be is that they would have to be out of the ring the whole time, and I'd be scared that some way, somehow, a fan might get in the way of something. Yeah, like I don't want no one getting hurt, so it'd have to be really, really, really very carefully, constructively done. But I think that would be really, really interesting. I think people would be really into it, and I would love to see that.
No, that's a very interesting concept. Would you have any concern that a fan would be looking for the title as well? What if a fan finds your ISPW Heavyweight Championship belt and hits the exit?
Yes, I mean, you have to have a little bit extra security on for something like that, but I think the concept would definitely work for sure.
No, it's a very cool idea. Very unique, very fun. And then you could even get crowd interaction where, they're convincing the heel that he's going the right way. Like, yeah, I saw it down there. You're getting hot. You're getting warm. Go, go, go. Sending him the wrong way. Yeah, helping out the good guy. That's a great idea for a stipulation match. Up next on the Wrestling Collectors Slam line, it's the caller that suggested this topic. It's time for the Bird Woman. It's time for Kathy Beware. Kathy, good morning.
The Bird Woman's back.
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Good morning.
We're doing fantastic. Thank you for this awesome topic. It's been a lot of fun talking about stipulation matches. It's even got Tommy sharing some potential ones for his own ISPW.
Yeah, it's so funny because I wanted to come up with something. And first of all, stipulation, that's like a big word. I'm like, wow, stipulation. I'm just thinking like theme matches, gimmicks, whatever. And it was just so funny because what I kind of wanted when I first thought about this was ones that, maybe weren't necessarily a part of like a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam or something like that. And then there weren't that many. I'm sure you guys know a bunch more, but there just weren't that many. And I thought, well, of course they have to be at those, the big pay-per-views and all that. But I thought, okay, I'm going to make a list. I'm going to see which ones are, which ones aren't. And yeah. And some of the ones, like you said, the the matches were set up in that way because of their feud and all that. And you guys have already said so many that I didn't remember. And, when I stopped following, so I didn't really know all those, but, yeah. And they were always fun. And it was just great to see something different. And I think there could be so many that could be brought back that they, used to do, that would definitely work with the characters and their gimmicks and all of that. And, they did different things like retirement matches and of course the body bag matches and all of that. But yeah, like an Iron Man match and, those would be good. And I know they did like when they started doing mixed tag team matches, that was way back, but, and they do those now, but yeah. So I was trying to think of ones that weren't a part of like, the pay-per-views. And I don't know. I mean, my list was just so small then. I could only think of a few. And like I said, I'm sure you guys know a lot more, but I just thought it was really cool to just see all those different ones, like pinfall anywhere in the ring, and the body slam ones, those could definitely come back. And some were a lot more exciting than others, that we got to see. But yeah, and I because at first I thought, did we talk about this already? I don't know. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. But I didn't think that we did. So I just thought, well, how about something like that and see what everybody can come up with. But yeah, some of these I didn't even know. I didn't even remember. And so it's fun hearing about all of them. So yeah, I'm finally glad I got on. I was trying everything and I don't know what was not working, but I'm glad to hear other people have been having problems too. I'm not the only one. So
Yeah, I don't know. The IT with like the first couple weeks went so smooth, and then last week was. I don't know if you listened to the show last week, Kathy, but if you didn't, don't. It was a disaster as far from an IT standpoint. But we had an awesome guest. Like Boss Man's daughter was so
yeah.
gracious and so kind and so lovely. So we're definitely going to have her back on.
Okay.
And this topic that you suggest is actually very fitting because Bossman was involved in one of the best stipulation matches ever, that Jailhouse match against the Mountie. And so this follow-up episode, very timely.
Yeah, and I actually did listen to some of it because did you guys have Lacey on before? I think was she on it another time? I don't know.
She might have been. Tommy had her at one of his 80s wrestling cons, I know. And so she may have came on ahead of that to promote it. Tommy,
Okay.
do you remember?
Yeah, I think she was possibly on, but it wasn't like a full episode. She just came on as as far as I remember, a quick guest. But she's super cool.
Yeah.
She's super cool. Yeah, she was very. We had a lot of technical difficulties last week.
Right. Yeah. I did listen to some of it, but then I just, wasn't able to listen to the rest. But
Everybody only listened to some of it. We could only hear each other half the time anyway.
yeah, it was just crazy. But no, this was a great topic, and I wanted to stick to like the golden era, but then you guys went off and I thought, well, maybe there wasn't as many. Like there were, but then there's so many other ones that you could talk about as well. And like I said, ones I wasn't even aware of. And for some of them too, they would go on location, and some people like that, some people didn't. But yeah, just the themes that they would come up with, and that would lead into the storyline. And I thought of a couple others, but then I was thinking no, because that's more of the character, like the things that they would already do, like when Brutus became the barber and then he'd cut their hair and stuff, and that wasn't really like that was just something his character did. So I kind of took that one out and stuff. But no, I think they were always fun because it mixed it up a bit, and it gave fans something different to look at. So, yeah, I think they were cool. And I agree. I think some stuff should come back. I love the big blue cage. So I think that's definitely something they could do today for sure. But I guess it just depends on the characters. Like there's so many different things that they could do now, but who knows what way they're going to go. So, but yeah, I think it was a great topic, and I'm glad I finally got a chance to be on.
Well, thank you for keep trying, and we're happy that you suggested the topic, and we're thrilled that we got to hear you today.
Yes, yeah, me too. So hopefully I won't have any more glitches, and can listen to the rest of the show.
That's right, exactly.
Thanks, guys, so much.
Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, guys. We'll see ya.
Yeah, you kind of forget about some of these stipulations, Tommy. As I was doing research for the show to put the graphic together to find these images, I was coming across ones that you don't quite remember, and then you realize, man, there's a reason they haven't been brought back. Like the time that scaffolding matches were a big thing in the NWA, and there's a picture on the screen of Hawk and Animal
Awesome.
in a scaffold match, and in the ring in the center there is Big Bubba Rogers. This is the Big Boss Man. But man, that type of match right there on the screen, Tommy, so dangerous. Not exciting to watch because you can't do much on top of the scaffolding, and there's no wonder they don't bring that back.
And do you ever hear Jim Cornette talk about the scaffold match he was a part of?
Yeah, didn't he blow out both of his knees from, from the thing?
That's dangerous, man. I mean, even that's I don't know. I know that I don't know if everyone knows, but like underneath that ring, it's like you think it's like a bunch of like pads, all that stuff. Like there is plywood. It's a steel metal ring frame, and there's plywood. There's a small little mat that covers it up. So I can only imagine anyone that's falling freaking 40, 50 feet and landing there is going to get hurt. It wasn't the greatest idea of all time, right? Especially if you're not trying to get hurt. Another match gimmick that I just thought of that I don't think it was ever done before. Was it? What was the name of the stipulation of the Big Boss Man Al Snow match? Was it like a dog food match? Or was it something with the dog?
Brother. They talked about this. Oh, I forget what that match was, but they showed this on the Dark Side episode of the Big Boss Man. Where he took Al Snow's pet, cooked it up, and then fed it back to him. I don't know if that was the stipulation of the match or if that was just evil. But yeah, it had something to do with the dog.
I know this wasn't a match, but how remember the time when Boss Man went to Big Show's father's wake and like
on the Dark Side too.
And my God, and just dragged around the dead body all around,
They're part of that. I don't know if you saw the Dark Side on Boss Man.
I did.
It definitely had a pattern of like this guy had this awesome career, and then it was just Vince Russo's bad idea after bad idea.
How about him getting hanged? How about when he got hanged?
I know.
I was there for that.
You were there?
That was WrestleMania 15, wasn't it?
It might have been. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, it was just one Vince Russo booking idea after another for the Boss Man at the tail end of his career.
Hey, but listen, he still was employed and sought a job going into the 2000s, right?
That's true. Professor Matt pointing out we saw the construction of the wrestling at Summerland with the Brock Lesnar Obafemi match where they pulled back that thin padding and you saw the wood planks underneath.
That's legit. That's legit, man.
And imagine dropping off, 15 feet high onto that. No thank you.
Yeah, that's legit.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go on a field trip. It's time to visit the firehouse as it's time for firefighter Brian. Brian, good morning, brother.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning.
Doing very well, sir. How are you?
Can't complain. Listen, I'm not going to lie. I might touch on some stuff you already covered. I started listening a little while. We're actually on. We're in your neck of the woods, Tommy. We're about 40 minutes from Wildwood. We're in Margate down the Jersey Shore.
Oh, nice. Well, Wildwood is about 2.5 to 3 hours from where I live, so that's on the other side of New Jersey. But I'll be down there in a couple of days. That's awesome, man. Have a great time. That's a great town, by the way.
You left him speechless, Tommy. Firefighter Brian, are you there? Did your call drop?
It seems as every week he can't figure it out, right? It's just him.
But he's on location now as well, which adds another
on location
to it. on location with firefighter Brian.
Hopefully he can call back and try again.
Yeah, Tommy, let me get your take on this match. I'm putting the graphic on the screen. It's the blindfold match between
Loved
Jake
it.
Roberts and Rick the Model Martel. This is the first time I remember ever seeing a blindfold match, and I love the buildup with the can of arrogance and Jake the Snake having that one eye whited out, so you thought he was blind. So to make it even, Jack Tunney said, "You're both going to be blind for this one." Break
Yes.
down this match for me, Tommy, from a promoter standpoint, from a fan standpoint. What do you remember about this one?
It was very entertaining, right? Because, I'm sure the match has been done several times before this match, but me and you, we're WWE guys, right? So, like, we probably never witnessed one of those matches before, even though I know that they were done in the past. Like, it was entertaining, man. Like, and the cool part is it was probably the easiest match ever for these guys to work because, they can obviously see through the blindfolds and they're not, huh?
What? They could see through them?
Yeah, they can see through. I'm sorry, Jumpy, to pull the curtain, back for you.
All
But
right.
for these guys, like, and this is when you know that the angle is great and the workers are over. Like they would do. If you go back and watch that, I think I'm gonna throw that on today in the Wrestling Collector as well. You go back and watch that match, like they're just moving, and the crowd's going ape shit crazy. Just them moving in different directions. That's when you know that you're over or what you're doing is working. When you just you have a blindfold on your eyes and you're just moving in different directions towards your opponent and the place is erupting, that's when you know it's working. And it did work. It was great. And yeah, man, it's another match that doesn't really cost any money or doesn't really have too many, crazy stipulations behind it that works and it's different and you put it on the poster or you advertise it on the marquee and it's different. And it really hasn't really been done in WWE since then, has it? I don't think it has, right?
I'd have to look that up. Not that I know of, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen and I missed it. One of the things I remember about that match is the wrestlers, like you said, as they moved around the ring, the crowd would really get into it and they would kind of point in the direction that they thought their opponent was in. And the crowd would either cheer or stay silent to kind of let them know where they were at. And I remember Jake the Snake would grab the ref every once in a while to give him in the DDT, but he'd feel the shirt and he knew it was the ref. So then he would let go. And the crowd was in it from bell to bell on this one.
Absolutely, man. And just like you said, like the small little things like that, like Jake's one of the masters, right? He's one of the greatest ever. So like something like that where you use that, something so simple like that where you fill the referee's shirt and you back off, but it added to the match and the stipulation so much. I'm really surprised that they haven't brought that back yet, especially for like someone like a Roman Reigns who works a little. He takes his time and everything is, like he's in a movie, right? So like I think something like that with him would be phenomenal if it was the right opponent and the right storyline. I'm surprised that they haven't brought back that stipulation.
It says here on the old Google machine that Triple H versus D'Lo Brown had a blindfold match.
No, I don't. You listen. You could put a gun to my head, right, and said, "Listen, man, you fucking tell me right now what the last blindfold match was, or I'm gonna shoot you dead right now." I would. There'd be my brains would be over the ground right now. I have no recollection of that ever happening. Do you?
It says Triple H versus D'Lo Brown on Raw in October of 2002, where the game peeked out of his blindfold to get the win.
Do not remember that at all.
Triple H.
I know. I never remember Triple H and D'Lo Brown wrestling each other.
No, neither do I. And then it also said Santino Morelli and Drew McIntyre had a blindfold match.
Morelli,
back in 2000.
Who's Santino Morelli?
Santino Morelli, the guy with the cobra.
Morella.
Morelli.
Santino Morella.
Okay, keep it K5. All right, bro.
We'll keep it K5, brother.
Firefighter Brian.
Listen, real quick.
Yeah.
Someone, oh my God, I swear to God, I'm not making this up. Someone at my a couple shows ago said K5, and it wasn't Firefighter Brian. Someone else said K5, and I literally He said it to me, but I literally laughed in his face, not because of him pronouncing it wrong, because I was thinking back to the show. Him always saying K5. Someone else said K5.
That is hilarious. I
Yes.
it he I'm gonna put a pic. I'm getting a picture of the Triple H match up on the screen here. Firefighter Brian just messaged in the chat saying, "I'm back on. See if you can hear me now." So let's go for it. Firefighter Brian, are you there?
Yeah, I should be. I'm sorry about that. I was in the car. I'm in the house
All
now.
right.
How's everything?
Hey, that's no
Good.
problem.
So where you staying at down there?
We really lucked out. We know a couple that has a house out here, and they said you guys want to come out for a week, and it actually coincided with little man's birthday. Little man is 2 today, believe it or not,
Oh,
and
happy birthday!
Oh, happy birthday.
appreciate it, and I'm happy to say, for the third year in a row, on August 13th, I'm holding my boy wearing the same Macho Man shirt that I wore the first time I held him. So
Nice.
I hope to wear that every year until I can't hold him
And
anymore.
what town are you in again?
Margate.
I believe I went to a restaurant that was really good. It's about I don't think it's even 40 minutes from Allwood. It's probably like a half hour from Allwood. I'm gonna look it up when I get off this podcast. If it is, I'll let you know. But yeah,
Oh,
it's a
please.
beautiful town.
Let me, Tommy. The second we crossed over
Yeah,
the
it's a nice
bridge,
town. Yeah,
the
it's a nice
second we
town.
crossed over the bridge, I'm like, I want to live here. You know,
Yeah, it's nice.
it's a great. I tell you, man, South Jersey, great. You guys have a lot of great, Wildwood, Cape May, so many great areas down here. And of course, Atlantic City, the good part, as we all know. But no, it's real, and the people here are so wonderful. The food's great. We're about a block away from the beach. Little man made his beach debut the other day. Let's just say he's not a beachhead like his father, at least not yet, but it'll take time. But yeah, it's a good time. He had donuts for breakfast for his birthday, so he's happy than pig and shit. So
Nice.
very nice. So like I said, I might touch on some stuff you've already covered. But here's my thing. But now, when I think of gimmick matches, that me, I always have more fun talking about the stuff that went wrong. Um, Gimmick matches like bad ones. I think of ones that they didn't do again, and I did think of it was called the Kennel in a Cell match. Big Boss Man and Al Snow. And yeah, I really do hope we can either get her back on one day or just do a Big Boss Man episode because, yeah, that episode was pretty crazy, Dark Side of the Ring. But yeah, so the Kettle from Hell, I mean, what it's known for is the dog shitting all over the place. And I'm thinking to myself, how the hell could they not have seen that coming? The second they said there were going to be real live dogs in this, I'm thinking to myself, unless these are Westminster Abbey dogs, that they're going to be shitting and peeing and whatever all over the place because they're going to be out of their element. That was a disaster. Number two, yeah, and it just makes sense that both these my next two matches were at Halloween Havoc. The misconception about WCW. WCW wasn't any good until the NWO. That's not true. WCW was very good. It had a lot of good qualities, and dare I say, it actually had some better wrestling than the WWF. But one thing stayed consistent. That was Halloween Havoc. Halloween Havoc always sucked. And this one, they had the first and thankfully the last Chamber of Horrors match, which was an absolute disaster. It was like a 4-on-4, 5-on-5 in this big thing that kind of made war kind of like a takeoff of War Games, but it had an electric chair in the middle of the ring. And poor Abdullah the Butcher had to be the one to get electrocuted. And when they pulled the lever, it didn't go off. It went off like 10 seconds later. So, and Jim Ross said, um, that was one of the one of the hardest matches he ever had to call. So that was another one. And then this one, the spin the wheel, make the deal. Now, the first
Love
time
that one.
I here's the thing. I love I'm not knocking spin the wheel, make the deal. I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great concept. WCW only did it for 2 years. And they never brought it back. And what's interesting is they usually stop something when it's a disaster. This was the other way around. The first spin the wheel, make the deal was Sting against Jake Roberts during his cup of coffee in WCW. Now you're thinking Sting versus Jake Roberts in a gimmick match. Where do I sign? Sting spins the wheel, and there's all sorts of matches. Falls count anywhere. I quit. This, that, whatever. What does it land on? A coal miner's glove match. One of the most boring gimmick stipulation matches there are. And they turned a match that with Sting's wrestling ability and charisma paired with Jake's ring psychology. That's the best they could come up with. But then they did it again with Cactus Jack and Vader, and it was a street fight, a falls count, or something like that. It was brutal. You'd think, okay, we righted the ship. They never brought it back. It wasn't brought back again until WWE did it on Raw for a few times, and now NXT is doing it. It's such a great idea and a great concept. You spin the wheel is the easy part. Then the bell rings, So that when I think of bad gimmick matches, those are the ones that quickly pop into mind.
Don't you think they could have rigged the wheel to land on something more exciting?
Well,
Or did they?
yes,
I mean, did they leave it up to chance completely?
That I don't know. I couldn't tell you, Jay. I will say this: when they did the Battle Bowl, okay, when they random tag team matches, and then a big battle royal to determine the winner of the whole thing. That was on the fly. That was random, and they did it. They pulled out the names right before the matches. Sometimes it worked when you had the right guys, and sometimes when you had guys who couldn't work out a match on the fly, it was a disaster. So maybe, I really don't know. Should it have been rigged? Maybe. Okay, because to do a gimmick match, to work out a gimmick match on the fly is extremely difficult. So that's a very, very good point. I really don't know. I don't know, but that's a good question.
Like you said, Sting versus Jake, that could be a slam dunk of a match. And so
It really, I'll tell you, man, it really, we always talk about what if, what if, what if. Well, what if Jake never left, or Warrior never left WWE? We're gonna have a Jake Warrior feud, and Jake. I think Jake very well could have been on the list of Randy Savage, Ted DiBiase, Rick Rude, of guys that could get a great match out of the Ultimate Warrior. Jake was so friggin' good at ring psychology, and we never got that. So we got it with Sting, and that didn't even work. So, it is what it is, But you know what? They gave us some good. We're still talking about them to this day, so they couldn't have been that bad.
that's right. That's a solid point. Well,
Absolutely.
Stay tuned for next week because Tommy Firo is going to be working on getting a special guest firefighter.
Oh, really? Oh, looking for any hints? Oh, you don't know yet. You're
Well, we have Legends of Wrestling night next Thursday at the Wildwood Convention Center in Wildwood, and I will be down there. So I'm thinking maybe one of the guys that are on that show, I can get them to be a part of it. So I'll have more information next couple of days, I'm sure. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Listen, man, we're about to get ready for the beach. So, listen, great talking to you guys as always. And I will hopefully talk to you guys next week. All right. God bless. Take care, man.
Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Fierro, it's the top of the hour. We spent the last 60 minutes talking about the most memorable and some of the most forgettable stipulation matches. Fun conversation today.
It was, man. I can listen. And there's so many we didn't even dive into yet that we could. So yeah, it was a fun one. So yeah, next week, real quick, shameless plug, ISPW Wrestling. If you live in the New Jersey area, we will be at the Wildwoods Convention Center again next Thursday. I'll make sure I'm a part of the episode next Thursday, 100% Jumper J. I know that last time I got dragged into a couple different directions at the last second, but I'll make sure I'm part of it this time. And I'll be working on getting one of the legends or possibly someone else on the show, but we will have a live guest next Thursday here on the podcast. And again, Sergeant Slaughter is going to be there. We're going to have the Headbangers, who are the ISPW Tag Team Champions. They're going to be wrestling on the show against Marcus Mathers and Aaron Rourke, who is a tag team in WWE Evolve. I'm telling you right now, if you never saw Marcus Mathers before, I'm I'm doubling down that he will be a WrestleMania main eventer one day. So go out of your way to check out Marcus Mathers, future big time star. Gangrel will be wrestling one on one with Justin Credible in a Attitude Era match. So it's going to be a cool show. Again, it's next Thursday. Tickets. Sandman's going to be there. Bunch of guys. Tickets are available on ispwwrestling.com.
That's right. QR code on the top of your YouTube screen. Give that a scan and get your tickets.
Yes, sir. Listen to the store phone ringing right now. Listen. Oh, I just had
Oh,
the
the
other.
Undertaker's theme
Yes.
plays anytime you call the Wrestling Collector.
And I always get nervous and jump when it goes on
I would too. I don't
every
blame
single
you.
time.
I don't blame you.
Well, listen, man. I'm going to work on a guest for next Thursday's show, and we'll definitely have someone 100%. And Jumpin' Jay, I hope that you have a great weekend with your family and friends and everyone out there as well. And we will check you guys out here next Thursday with a live guest on 80s Wrestling, the podcast.